Community Conversations is a space that fosters conversation around topics important to us, with the purpose of creating an educational opportunity to teach, learn, work, and grow together. With your host, Ina.
Welcome back to the part 2 of the conversation around entertainment and music, and we were in the middle of just scratching the surface around accessibility, and it's such a huge topic. So I really feel we need more time to do that. So hang around for another hour. And we have still with us Danny from Canada, me and Diva from Sweden, and Paul from Ireland, and Lindsey and Laura from the States and Nashville. So we were talking about accessibility. Where were we?
I was talking about. You finished. It was Danny actually was talking about.
I had. Sorry, this has been a learning, actually. As I mentioned, we're putting on this show in Vancouver, and a friend of mine in Vancouver is running a lot of the production things, but I've been kind of the lead of putting a lot of like the Eventbrite together and all the things together, and it's been really cool because this is an area that, like, I put together local shows before, and done that, and that's cool. That's fine. I've never thrown a show on the other side of the country, though. that's new. And it just, again, lots of little learnings. I got I lovely dude. So that the headlining band are called The Long War. Lovely humans, and lovely humans, and then us, Danny Lamb in the Association, and a guy by the name of Dan Sloan, Digger Dan, who I don't know his complete story. He doesn't live with spina bifida or hydrocephalus, but he does live with the disability, and so it was really interesting because he shot me a message to say, or he CC'd this friend of his who also lives with a disability, and says, in Vancouver, there's this program where somebody can go on and register. There's certain venues that are signed up, so an attendant can come for free to the performance, and it made a lot of sense. Yeah, okay. This venue that we're at isn't on that list. I was like, well, whatever. We'll take care of it. And so, as I said to them, it's really interesting because I think there's two things at play here. First of all, there's this systemic lack of awareness that maybe this venue just doesn't even know about this program, and maybe it's a conversation that we could have for them to get on that list, so that next time we do a show like this, that person can go and make sure that their attendant is just able to go. So that's like, say, more of the systemic thing. The immediate thing is we'll just comp a ticket for your attendant. No problem at all. That's cool. No problem at all. But again, just like an interesting little thing that I've never faced a question like that. So it's been a learning. And then doing it in a different province is also just been a different learning. Because yeah. But just really, really interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Anyone else wanna?
What sorry, what did you asked? What was that question that you asked? How is music? Sorry, I closed this. How has music helped or changed us in any way?
Yeah, since I am such a part-based human, and since I feel music does so much for me and can help me through any emotion. It can help me through things, whether I'm sad or angry, happy. It can change my state like this. I really want to know how what part does music or singing or playing an instrument do to you, and how do you use music to help you? Diva?
Music has been a huge part of my life, and just as you said, it can change your mood. It can help you through a lot. It can help you release certain emotions if they're not accessible to you at that moment. Just alter your whole state. I never listen to angry music when I'm angry because I don't need to.
Apart from me, can I
Yeah. Tell the story.
Yeah, just like 2 days ago, I got so upset. So I just felt this energy and this, speaking of being able to express anger. Anger is the feeling I have the hardest time expressing. So but I am so blessed to have you, Diva, as one of my closest friends that helped me through breakup a few years ago, and you and you told me then, I have a playlist which I'm going to send you, and I'm going to add songs for you which can really help you with this releasing of emotion. And first of all, I just love the name of that playlist. Fuck Off and Die. I mean, oh. So, to circle back to 2 days ago, I had a very, very short window, like 20 minutes before I had to leave for work. So I came to think of this playlist, and I just immediately thought, yes, this is the playlist I need to just release at least some of my emotions, so I don't bring this bottled up emotion to work, because that has nothing to do with why I feel what I feel. It was great. It was great. Oh, side note.
That list was actually made for you. It wasn't created before, it was made for you.
Oh. Me. Oh. So my friend slash anger coach. Oh, everyone needs friends like that. And yeah.
Wait, can I actually add as a I don't know, one of the things that I love about music in general, and I think you'll hear like a couple. I know I've heard a couple trains of thought around music today, pros and cons, and one of my favorite things about music today is it's never been as accessible to find music to listen to get music. The other train of thought is there's just so much, it's so oversaturated, there's so much of it, it's hard to make it today. But, you know, I think back to the days of the Beatles or before the Beatles, and you had to have a CD to be able to give to somebody, and you had to come up with the money to be able to do that, and if you were recording, you had to do it in one take, whereas today recording's never been as easier. Being able to find music, be able to access playlists that are full of your favorite songs or artists that are similar to those themes you're looking for. It's just never been easier. And as a musician, I will say I kind of, you know, it's challenging to, I don't know, depending how you define make it. It's hard to make it, but it's also arguably never been easier to be heard as a songwriter as well, because, you know, if you've got a phone and a song, whether it be good or, you know, the first song you've ever written, or maybe the first song you've ever written is great. Mine wasn't, but maybe yours is. You know,
Can I go, please? I have to go.
yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
guys.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
See you, Paul. See you. See you.
nice.
See you. Take care, Paul.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's just I think it's interesting because I do love, you know, I love that I often have students who they'll like bring in a song or an artist that they want to do, and I find myself so often saying, how did you come across this artist? Where did you stumble upon this artist? Well, a playlist or, you know, Spotify or iTunes, and I think it's so cool. I'm as flabbergasted as much as I am, you know, always in the headspace of like, it's so cool that you just stumbled upon this artist that you found when you were listening to, I don't know, somebody else. But I
Yeah.
love it. It's cool.
Laura and Lindsey, I want to let you take up space in this conversation as well.
Do you want me to go or do you want to go, Lindsay?
You can go.
Go, Laura.
I have no problem talking. So.
No, I just know Lindsay has a great story. And so I would say kind of, I mean, as far as how music has like helped or changed me, I think there is that, you know, I think surface level for me anyway, like, you know, it can brighten my mood, or, you know, it speaks to the feelings that I can't necessarily express in words, in a conversation or whatnot. But I think music also for me, and especially in the seasons that I've been in the last few years, has really encouraged me and been a medium to challenge me, and allow me to grow personally and professionally, but just allowed me to grow. And so what I mean by that is that different music related opportunities have presented itself, where it challenged my thinking about myself and the narratives that I've played in my head my whole entire life, of like, you're not good enough, you know, your opinions don't matter, you know, they don't have a space, or you have nothing to bring to the table, you're not good enough to be in this place. And so I think music and the opportunities that it's given me, even, you know, in the last few years, have shown me that there's a difference, that there's a different side of that story, and that there's a narrative that needs to be changed in my mind, of that, no, I do bring something to the table, and I do have my opinions and perspectives, and they're just as valuable as someone else. And I do bring something to the table. I have skills and passions and gifts and talents. And I think for me, like being like someone who loves to organize, you know, music related live events and stuff, I feel like those opportunities have been used for my growth in changing those narratives, and being like, oh, you know what, I do have a knack for this, or I am good at this. And certain people have been, you know, brought into my life recently in the last few years as I've moved to Nashville, who have really played a part in that, and used music as that vessel in showing me that, hey, you are valuable. You do have a place in this this world, and in this, even in entertainment industry or whatnot. And so I think that's kind of, you know, been a beautiful thing in which I've seen growth through music, and not even just like listening to it, but in the ways in which I enjoy bringing it to other people and coordinating music events, live events and stuff. And I bring this up, you know, whenever I can to talk about it, but you know, my church put on a music festival, and I helped put it on, and I went to the person that was really heading it up, and I was like, hey, can I help? And there was really no hesitancy in him to be like, I don't know that you're capable of doing that or whatnot. And so that has been such a life-changing experience for me, to be able to work with people that don't second guess me, don't second guess my capabilities, and really that's helped shape and grow the narratives that have plagued me my whole life. And so I just think that's been a beautiful thing, that it's brought out growth in me in ways that only music can do. So.
Yeah.
Lindsey,
Yeah.
you have
So
fantastic
by the,
story. I
well,
want to
so
hear.
before I get into that, I have to say Laura did fantastic. I actually did get to go to the festival that she's talking about, and I was so proud of her for just kind of putting herself out there in that environment, because I know that that's hard. And so she did great, and you could tell that she was really respected by everyone around her. So I just wanted to give her a little more credit than she likes to give herself on that. But yeah, I mean, as far as like my own personal story, like I said in the first part of everything, for me it was the thyroid cancer diagnosis. It was just kind of a very eye-opening moment for me to be. I was 27 at the time, definitely not anymore. To just kind of be met with your own potential mortality. And so through that, and as morbid as that is, it really made me want to seize the day, go out, have new experiences, go for the things that I wouldn't normally have. And so for me, very, very much so, the music stuff is emotional survival. I could be going through, I mean, it got me through the entire cancer journey with radiation thrown in the mix. And that was always like my go-to. And even right now, like I'm recovering from another surgery, and, I'm kind of counting the days down to the next festival I get to go to, and I'm going to be really, really pushing it. But I need those moments to have the normalcy, or kind of it kind of just centers me into being reminded that like it's not all bad out there, or maybe we're going through something really challenging, whether it's mental health, physical health, whatever, and being able to have that one thing that you can go to and kind of not check out, but kind of check out, and or kind of shut out the world and just kind of focus on someone's passion for what they do, or the story that they want to share through music, or whatever it might be. And that's really part of why like the Keith thing became so important. Like not only did it become part of the cancer journey, but I actually got to watch him and have watched him really grow as an artist, and really like invest in the people that follow him. And so it's been really neat to watch not only him but other artists and kind of their self-discovery or their progression and growth too. So I think that that's, for me personally, like that's one of my favorite parts. And so it's all kind of meaningful to me. It's hard to pick just one reason that it's meaningful, because it has been so impactful.
Yeah, definitely, because as life is constantly changing, its ups and downs and roller coasters, and sometimes it's this slow moving river and calm seas, and I mean, I just love how there is music and genres for everything in that. You can really pick and choose what you need in that exact moment, if it's about amplifying something or releasing emotion, getting you through hard things, or as I also use in my work in body therapies, more calm music, more instrumental, and to just amplify the feeling I want to put in to that exact treatment, or as I did before we hopped on our first conversation. I did a 10-minute yoga session, and I by accident just put on a random song I haven't heard before, and it was just so synchronistic, and I just lay there like, and that was exactly what I needed in that moment, both the vibe and the lyrics, and
So just kind of on that, I think it's been a really interesting time artistically, because I spent a bunch of years pursuing being an artist, and then for me anyways, it got to a certain point, and I think lots of people, whether you're an artist or, as we've been talking about, in the industry in some way, you start to question everything. And you start to question, like, why are you doing this? Why are you putting yourself through this? Like, what is the purpose? And at a certain point, I stopped moving forward, and I started to dig deeper again into, like, why am I doing all this? What is the ultimate goal and purpose here? Fame can't be the only real purpose. Like, what that it can be a long lonely road if that's the only goal. That just can't be it. And I started to kind of step back a little bit from being an artist, and started to really dive deeper into the other things that I really love, which is producing other artists and being the back end to somebody else. And I really do love that. As surprising as it might be for some people, because I am a front person. That's what I do. But I love being behind, and I love seeing somebody else be celebrated, and me not have to be the one that's the center of attention. I love that. If I can just, sit at the piano and play the right chords and sing the right harmonies, I'm cool with that as well. And I kind of stepped back and started doing that a lot more, and falling deeper in love with that. And then at the end of last year, our friend and ally Pierre in Belgium, he said something that really stuck with me. As an artist activist himself, he said, don't lose sight of being an artist yourself, because that's a part of who you are and a part of what you're doing with everybody else as well. So don't lose sight of that, because that's a part of who you are. And so I went into this year with this energy of, okay, I need to be an artist more than I have been the last little while. So now it's funny because now it's never changed. I'm always creating, but it's now turned into this juggle. And to kind of come back to Ina, you really like feeling that music in that moment. I did find when I wasn't really like as active and wasn't really like pushing myself as much as an artist, I found myself in those moments of constant, like when I am writing, I'm fully in that moment. And then when I started to push a little bit more and started to be on the front line as an artist again more and dig into that part of my identity more, it became more about, shoot, I gotta get this freaking song done. What the heck? And I found myself less in less in fully in the song versus I'm in the song, but I also just need to get it done. And so but then also the song is always king or queen. It's always about the song. So you got to listen to the song. So like trying to like run that fine line of, say pushing forward as an artist, being an artist, while not feeling pressured to, have a song done on a certain timeline. Because at the end of the day, a great song is a great song. Who cares when it gets done or released? Let's just make sure it's a great song and it says exactly what we want it to say. And so it's interesting because I find myself in that artistically in that weird space of like pursuing those things again, while also finding the time to be fully immersed in the emotion of that moment, of that song, of that thing. And it feels like a juggle and a struggle sometimes, but that's there's a line that Bono says, it's not in terms of one of the ways, I guess, in terms of even my writing or how music has changed me. I feel like I'm always saying things that I need to be reminded of, or I want to hear, or I want to be like things I put into the world that I am reminded of, and like almost like pillars to hold myself accountable. And I'm writing this song right now. It was originally called Good Intentions. I don't know if it'll keep that title, but it's like about me 10 years ago being this charismatic dude who took up a lot of space and still has moments where I take up a lot of space. And I take up a lot of space without even trying, just even living in the world. But really finding a way to take all those things I've learned over the years and use music to create more space, and continue to use music to create more space, and continue to find opportunities to be at the back and not be the front person, and to continue to juggle, stepping up and stepping back, and knowing when to step up, knowing when to be at the front, and then loving stepping back and being at the back as well. And music has definitely been a tool that I think continues to hold me accountable to some of those things. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I love it.
I love how you said stepping back, and because that makes my job as a host easier, so I don't have to go back.
You just gotta tell me to shut up.
Okay. Shh. Diva, Laura, Lindsey.
Music has always helped me in every way possible. I remember every surgery, every hospital visit, every struggle, music has always been there. And when I was younger, I couldn't express the discomfort or even the pain I was feeling during hard times after surgery, or what's it called? Any medical procedure. And music helped me with that. Like, I could listen to a song like, yeah, this expresses exactly how I feel or how I felt in that moment. And what I also like about I listen to music that has like the story within a story within a story within a story. Like, that is something that I listen to a lot. So if it's too simplistic, I just find it boring, really. Which goes back to the period when I went to Ina for a tactile massage, and she just described that she's into this very melodic, calm music. It was Rammstein for an hour, once a week, for months, and I was sleeping. She was having almost a nervous breakdown and shaking sometimes, and I was sleeping, and I was very happy and relaxed.
Yes. And I was like, the first time you said, could we please have some other music? I was like, yeah, sure. What do you want to listen to? This is your time. This is your treatment. This is your hour. And you said Rammstein, and I was like,
oh crap.
Am I going to get through this? But I did. And
yeah.
Because at that moment, it's not about me. It's about you as my client. And if you relax to Rammstein, then
I did. Yeah, I did back then. Now I can actually listen to calmer music. I'm very into classical music. So I listen to a lot of that, especially when I'm creating something. We've done some bit of classical songs at my coaching that I'm doing with Danny. He's an awesome coach.
She pays me very, very well to say say that, to say nice things about me.
Sometimes it's a bit of a struggle, but I love it. I decided to go back into singing, or at least give it a try again, because I remembered how much I loved it when I was younger. And sometimes even I think that I don't suck.
Good. Progress.
Like, I can just go sometimes like, no, this is not good enough. No, nope.
Nope.
Yeah, but it's fun.
Sorry, just on the Diva, since you got on that train, it's so interesting, and he's actually from Tennessee, a guy I worked with years ago, very monotone voice, and he's the only person who I ever thought, don't I don't know if I don't know what I can do here. It took us a little while. We got there. We got to a day where he sent me a message and he was like, Danny, I was talking the other day and I could feel my voice moving in my body. It was going from my chest into my more middle register and then into my head. I could feel it going up and down, and I chuckled and I was like, that I mean, that's one of the beauties of digging deep into the voice, is figuring out where it can exist and how it can exist, and how it can change and where it can live inside of us, and how we can be empowered through it, which is a pretty cool thing. But it was just such a comical moment because he went from super monotone. I would like play a note on the piano and he'd be singing some note way over there. He just could not get it. And through a number of different little warm-ups and tips and tricks, and we got him to, he was singing, and then he could feel his voice moving inside of him when he was speaking, and it was just like, it was a cool little moment because it just, the power of the voice, just wild.
Yeah, and yeah, and that's what it's all about, I'm guessing, as a vocal coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's all the technical components that we can dive into, that I was raised on. I grew up.
We're not sorry.
Oh.
No. Just so we're so Laura and Lindsey can check. So,
yes. Anyways, there's all kinds of components. Yes.
This is where I go.
Okay, bye.
Lindsey.
And that's a wrap.
No, I mean, I kind of touched on it earlier, but I think one of my favorite parts really is kind of what Danny just touched on, and just like those aha moments. And so, for me, it's going to look a little bit different than it does for Danny, but I will be, reconnecting with an artist that maybe I haven't seen in 6 months or a year or something like that. And there's been a few times where, I'll have people come hang out at the house. We might pull out a guitar, an artist might sing, whatever. And I love the moments of just like watching like the evolution of it all, or just like recognizing like, oh wow, this artist has like really, really worked on their vocal talent, in whatever way. And like they're so much more powerful than they were, 2 years ago, or she's not shy anymore, or he's dressing a little sharper, or whatever it might be. Like I really love watching those little moments of change, and like when an artist really, will reach out to me and say, hey, what do you think of this? Or what's your opinion? And so it's just really cool for me to be on that side of it and see kind of the evolution of it. So
Thank you for sharing that. Right? Do you have?
What was the question? Sorry. I have ADD, I think.
Do you have any specific example moments where music has helped you, or amplifying feeling, or
I mean, I feel like whenever I get into the room of a venue, like a concert or a music festival, or it makes me come alive, from the not musician perspective, but like from someone who wants to be in the industry and work in the industry. It reminds me, this is where I want to be. because it just, music has a way of just bringing out so many different feelings and things that, again, like I mentioned before, like words and conversations don't necessarily, like can't necessarily do. And so I love being in those spaces where I get to feel those feelings and be with others that are like-minded in that sense, that that love that feeling, and they're driven by that feeling. And so if they work in the industry or whatever, I love being a part of, like, being in the spaces with those people and with the creatives that are creating the music. I love supporting that. Um I just love supporting what it is that other people do, and just being like, how can I help? Like, what can I do? I'm just that type of person. I love that role that I can play, and just being a supporter of musicians specifically. And so I'm trying to, find that here in Nashville and what that looks like. But yeah, I love being in those spaces. And, every time that I come back to that, like every time I go to a show or whatever, it just reminds me, like, yes, this is, when I'm doubting myself or whatever, or doubting my talents, or whether or not I'm headed in the right direction, that always reminds me and brings me back to, yes, like, this is what you're fighting for. This is what you love, being in these spaces and supporting people in the creative way.
I was gonna say too, I love just the ability of how words. Like I love connecting people like through music, I mean, how Laura and I became friends and how I met Danny and now you two, it's amazing how easily you can connect with somebody through music and how powerful that is. And I just think it's a beautiful thing, to, be able to develop friendships through all of that. And, none of us would be here right now if it wasn't for music, like in what other world other than maybe the disability world would we even get the chance to connect, if it weren't for this. So I just think it's a beautiful thing.
Really, 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 truly. And I love that we all are all take up that space, yeah, going into that space or spaces. And that is what I love about these community conversations, because I'm that kind of person that just loves connecting people and love hearing stories, different viewpoints, speaking my story and sharing, and like since English is not my first language, I'm like ripple effects was what I was saying, like making our voices louder and taking up more space, and like here on community conversation and and on the podcast, which you host, Danny, which we all been a part of, which is on Spotify. Subscribe to that too.
Yes. The link will be down below,
Yes.
or it's on this channel somewhere, probably in the information bar.
Yeah.
The promotion never stops. I love it.
Bunch of
Shameless
love
plug.
it.
salespeople, aren't we? Bunch of salespeople.
I love it.
Yeah. Just search A Song a City, then you'll find. And any closing thoughts?
I just love how music really has connected people, like Lindsey was saying, and like how it's just amazing that how connection and support of one another in what they do and what they love is just, that's why I do what I do, and the things that I pursue is because I want to support people, and I want to support people in their ventures, whatever it is, and more specifically like in the music world. But it's just amazing how that support is even received, and appreciated too, and the connections that you can make with people. And I don't know, it's something that I thrive on, and again, like, it makes me come alive to be able to do that kind of thing. So thank you for having me on, and being a part of this conversation.
Oh,
It's so great.
was
Come
my
back
pleasure.
anytime.
Yes.
Please,
Yes.
please, please. So good.
I mean, I can't believe we've been here over two community conversation episode, 2 hours almost.
Yeah.
And it feels like we could talk so much more. I just love that I've gotten to know a little bit more about you, Laura, and you, Lindsey, and I'm so happy that you joined, and come on anytime. And
Okay.
yeah, and next community conversation would be probably on another topic. Who knows? I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
It'll be up sometime.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the future.
Regarding something.
Yeah, you never know about what.
Anyway, join in on our conversation by comment below, subscribe, write to us through social media.
All the things.
All the things that our lovely community has to offer, with all you amazing human beings. I just love people. Oh. Okay.
That needs to be the tagline.
Oh my God. I think so. That's lovely.
I just
love
love
it.
people. I love it.
Oh,
Okay.
you're so genuine in that too. You're so genuine in that. I love it. So
I don't know how to be in another way. And if I were, then that would show, and that would be very boxed in. But I'm going to start putting my heart out there and closing this conversation by saying thank you so very much, and see you on next community conversation. Bye.
Bye. Have a good weekend.